Have you ever heard of a man who held a nation in his grasp, only to watch it all slip through his fingers like sand? This is the story of Taira no Kiyomori, one of the most powerful and feared men in the history of Japan. The moon hung low in the sky, its pale light shimmering across the still sea. But for Kiyomori, there was no peace. The empire he had built with relentless ambition was crumbling. Once the master of Japan, his Taira clan was now on the brink of collapse. How did it come to this? It began with a fire that burned too brightly. Kiyomori's ambition was insatiable. He conquered his rivals, manipulated the imperial court, and crushed anyone who dared to stand in his way. At the height of his power, he seemed untouchable. But power, like the tide, is ever-changing. The Genpei War, which had propelled him to greatness, was now the source of his ruin. The Minamoto clan, once a scattered enemy, had rallied under a new leader, Minamoto no Yoritomo. Yoritomo, driven by vengeance and determination, led a relentless campaign against the Taira, Kiyomori's once invincible armies began to falter. Standing on his balcony, gazing at the moonlit sea, Kiyomori felt the immense weight of his actions. The cost of his ambition had been devastating. Countless lives lost, allies betrayed, and even his own family torn apart. The power he craved had left him hollow, filled with regret. A poem he once wrote now haunted him, its meaning painfully clear. In the end, the moon reflects upon the still sea, yet my soul drifts away. His heart was like that reflection, bright on the surface, but distant and fading. As he stood lost in thought, his eldest son, Shigemori, approached. Shigemori had grown weary of the endless war, the bloodshed, and his father's unyielding ambition. "Father," he said softly, "the Minamoto are advancing. We cannot hold the capital. It is time to consider peace." Kiyomori's voice was thick with bitterness. "Peace? After everything I have fought for? What is the point of peace when my world is falling apart?" Shigemori looked at his father with sorrowful eyes. "You built this empire on ambition and violence, but now it is that same ambition that destroys us. The tides are turning. It is time to let go." The words struck Kiyomori like a blade, but he knew they were true. The empire he had built, the life he had fought for, was slipping away like a fleeting reflection on water. "It's too late," Kiyomori whispered, his voice hollow. "My soul is already lost to the winds of fate." For the first time in years, tears stung Kiyomori's eyes. His ambition had consumed him, and now, as his empire crumbled, his soul was left adrift. The lonely moon, once a symbol of his power, now mirrored the deep loneliness in his heart. Taira no Kiyomori's name would be remembered forever, but not just for his power. It would serve as a timeless, cautionary tale, a story of ambition, pride, and the inevitable fall that often follows. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales from history. We'll see you in the next video.